Hi everyone, I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. This is your weekly reading where we talk all about what's going on in the weekly energy, the collective energy, the energy that impacts each and every one of us, and how you can best navigate it. So we're going to connect with the channeled messages that I connected with in advance for this reading. We're going to allow whatever wants to flow through during the reading to flow through, and then we're going to pull some tarot cards to build upon the messages. So I encourage you to watch from the beginning to the end if you can. I always love the way that the information comes through with the tarot to build upon the messages that I had already connected with. How's everybody doing? How are you feeling in this energy? I would love to hear from you below. There's an intensity in the air, certainly. I don't always feel like I'm at my most stable, my most balanced when we are in Cancer season. I just find that for me, it stirs up a lot of emotion. And I mean, not even necessarily in a bad way, but I just like it. I'm really quick to cry during Cancer season. And so this is just something that I know at this point. I'm curious, have you guys been feeling very emotional? Have you been feeling all of that be stirred up? I feel like it's so important for us there's value in this. It's so important for us to honor it, to work with it if you are having these kinds of experiences, and to allow it to flow over us, to experience this energy, to let ourselves work through whatever's wanting to be worked through emotionally, while also at the same time really finding that balance. This is check yourself before you wreck yourself energy, right? So emotion can look like also increased anger, increased agitation. And so you might find that you're more reactive in this energy, and the other people are more reactive in this energy. So we want to make sure that we are just going a little bit easy on ourselves, on everyone else. Chelsea's saying she loves Cancer season, and it might just be because she's a Cancer rising. Yeah, certainly it can be. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I just personally feel like I don't love the way that it stirs up so much emotion for me. But I've learned we all have our seasons. We all have our times where we tend to have a little bit more difficulty, and everybody's energy is going to respond a little bit differently. But for me, it's not my favorite. But I love when we have that shift into Leo season, which is what we have coming up as we move toward the end of the month on the 22nd. So I always love that. And I always look forward to that. But for now, like, it is what it is. And every energy has a value. Every energy plays a role, and we get to choose, right? So we also get to choose. There are other beautiful things about Cancer energy other than the emotional energy that we can tap into, that we can tune into. And one of those things is intuition. We are so much more connected to our intuition. Are you noticing how intuitively connected you are? I feel like I'm getting messages left and right. I feel like I'm just very connected to my guidance and what I need to be doing right now. I find I'm actually feeling so intuitively connected that I have to really be mindful about staying more focused, because I find that when I'm in my intuition, I'm in my intuitive mind more, I am challenged to be as focused as I would prefer to be. So for me, I'm being very conscious of that and making a lot of efforts to not let myself just sort of get lost in the dream world that can be my intuition. I'm being really mindful to have to-do lists to make sure that I'm carving out this time. I'm using all of my strategies to help me to stay focused and do the things that I need to do, because we do need to be doing the things that we need to do right now. This is a time where we're being called to get shit done. Right? We're watching these retrogrades stack up one after another, and that's not going to stop. We keep going with this. And so this is a slowdown, and it's a slow slowdown that's happening for us. It's a movement into going within again. And so now is that time. I very much feel this push to be putting effort in, to be putting energy into the things that we need to be putting energy into. That is going to pay off big time. We had that King of Pentacles last week. To me, that's like, your efforts will be very rewarding for you. And we very much are still in this energy. So making those efforts and your intuition, we're so connected to our intuition. In Cancer season, we're also very connected to our creativity. So let that flow and let that guide you. What do I need to be doing? What do I need to be focusing on right now? And so taking action on it. When I was connecting with this, I heard, how bad do you want it? Right? This is a great time to show up in a way that shows how bad you want something, how bad you're trying to make it happen. And of course, we want to do that in a way that honors everybody else, right? It's not about that, but it is about showing up for yourself. It is about continuing to work on a goal, a dream. I think that there's a lot of opportunity in this energy to get discouraged if we allow it. And so there's also a message here about making sure that we don't allow ourselves to sit too much in that discouragement. I think the combination of these energies can really bring us into a place where it's just like, oh, I don't know if that's going to happen. And if we allow it and if we stay there, we can go down an emotional rabbit hole and not be taking advantage of these windows of opportunity that are happening for us. So we want to make sure that we are taking action and that we are seeking the things that we're feeling called to seek without trying to control things too much, without trying to force anything. So taking action is really different from forcing. And we certainly don't want that, because we want to allow flow. I think here in this energy, there's a lot of opportunities for us to connect with flow. So speaking of flow, what I feel like this flow is doing for us, if we can allow ourselves to be in this flow and be taking action where we feel called to take action and allowing things to arrive into our experience, I very much feel this energy of options showing up for us. So this is a great time to be intentional with what you're manifesting, but don't be surprised. And I feel like this is true for this week, but I also feel like it's going to be true for the next few weeks as well. But don't be surprised if more than one option shows up for you and you have these options available. Let's see if, I said last week it felt very 7 of Cups in the tarot to me. I'm curious if that'll show up today, because it's very 7 of Cups energy, where it's like, oh, I have all these options showing up for me all of a sudden. I have different things to choose from. Which will I choose? And at the end of the day, you really have to tune in with yourself and ask yourself, what's the best option? So be on the lookout for that, right? I think I called this video something like, may the best option win, because I do think that we want to get into that energy of understanding our worth, our value, what we deserve, and allowing those options to keep flowing in and seeing, okay, what's going to be the best fit for me? Maybe you're trying to find different work, and not only do you have one job offer available, you have many job offers available, but it doesn't have to be that serious. It could be little things, right? Where you just have like different options of what you want to do with your time. Choose wisely. Choose the things that most align with who you are now and where you are. This energy is also incredibly magical. I think that we're instantly creating so many things here now. And so don't be surprised if the things that you're creating actually arrive into your experience, and be prepared to know what to do with them when they come in. But also making the choices, like you might manifest something, you might have something arrive in your experience and you're like, you know what? I don't know if that's exactly what I'm looking for. I know I asked for this, but I don't know if that's exactly what I'm looking for. And that trust and that knowing that there could be other options that are showing up very, very quickly. So it's okay to take your time. It's okay to feel things out. It's okay to not jump on making any decisions too quickly. Just take your time with that and take action where you are aware of the actions that you need to be taking and get things done. And I do feel like we are being called to do things in a different way as well. Like, so how this is showing up for me, I'm really feeling this pull to focus on building things, not just from my flow, but really learning more things about the way that like certain strategies for business and getting myself out there more and different things like that. So I'm really feeling that pull to mix things up and to do things differently and to learn some things from different people to allow me to expand even further, right? And so can we let other people help us? Can we let people in? Can we let different ideas come in? Can we be willing to mix it up and do things differently, right? So you might have these options ahead of you and you're looking at it and you're like, okay, but I have this option and I've never explored this option before. Let me explore this option and let me see where that's taking me. Let me see what kind of success that will create for me. There's also a lot of karmic energy that's happening right now. So especially with Saturn having gone retrograde, right? So you may find that the energy that you're putting out is almost instantly being returned back to you. So I would be very mindful, especially right now, about what it is that you're putting out there. Kindness and love and as much light as possible, as often as possible. But if we are putting energy out there that is impacting people in a negative way, understanding that we're going to get that karma back almost instantaneously. Or you may find that there is justice being served in situations where it has felt like justice hasn't been served in the past. You may find that you're receiving positive things because you've been focused for a very long time on putting positive energy out there. There's so many different ways that this could shape up, but I will be mindful, right? Just really operating from this mindset that what we put out is what we receive. And I really feel like this energy is magnified right now. It's a great time for us to take a little time and maybe make amends if we feel like we haven't handled a situation in a way that we feel good about. So you might find that those things are coming up, or we want to apologize, or we might receive apologies. All kinds of things like that being stirred up. So again, follow your flow and listen to that. Now, in this energy, like I said, it can sometimes be overwhelming as well. And I do feel like, I always think about like Cancer energy, like the crab and the shell, and that shell being protective. And we don't want to be too protective of ourselves, but I did get that message when I was connecting with the energy that it's also okay for us to be less accessible, for us to pull our energy back. I talked about how important it is that we're staying focused and how that's difficult in this energy for us to stay focused. So what do you need to release that's a distraction? What do you need to release that maybe is allowing, maybe you're too accessible in some way, right? Maybe you're always checking your messages, or you are always available on this social media and this social media and all of that. Or maybe you're always available whenever anybody connects with you and reaches out. And I think that it's okay to be less accessible, to find a balance with that. And I'm not saying don't be of service, don't give, don't support people, of course, right? So many of the people that connect with my messages and my videos are the helpers and the healers of the world. And this is just what we do. But at the same time, it is okay to be less accessible. And it's a good question for you to ask yourself, am I feeling called to be less accessible in some way? Especially because I think like we have a lot that is flowing into our experience, a lot that's happening right now, a lot that we're intentionally creating in our experience. And so there's a lot that's coming at us. We want to make sure that we have the energy and the availability to focus on the things that really matter the most to us. The things that matter the most to us, the people that matter the most to us. We want to be utilizing our time and our energy in the best ways that we can here in this energy. So let me know how that's going for you. I talked last week about our value going up, right? Like this energy of just being aware of our value, of what we deserve. And I felt like there was a shift, this awareness of what we will tolerate, what we will no longer tolerate in certain situations. So there was some shifts with that. It's also like this, you know, where do we need to raise our standards? Or in some cases, like I even felt like that's like price. Like, how are you valuing yourself? What are you charging for the work that you're creating for your time and your energy, that might be something to think about. But where are you feeling this pull to raise your value in some way, right? It might be how you're spending your time, right? Recognizing that your time, your energy is valuable. Amanda is saying that she's been a very Queen of Swords all week. Hell yes. Hell yes. Like it's a time to release, right? Like we don't need to be bringing baggage with us into all of these beautiful things that we're creating. So let that shit go. I say as the Page of Swords jumps out of the deck. Let that shit go so that we can move into something that aligns with who we are now. There's just so much that we're understanding now. And this process has been really important to bring us there. You can even see, like, if I didn't experience that, I wouldn't be here with this. I think we're doing a lot of that this week. I had shared, like, I had gone through kind of a tough time recently, but now I'm just seeing that from such a different perspective. Like, yes, that sucked, and I didn't like feeling the way that I felt, and it brought me into a heaviness and a level of discouragement that I haven't felt connected to in so long. But at the same time, it really brought me to this place where I'm seeing some things from different perspectives. I'm valuing myself more, and I'm also recognizing where I need to make some changes, right? Like, we can't stay doing things the same way forever, as much as the Taurus in me would love to do that in some ways. We got to shake it up. And all of that served to shake it up, and it moved me out of my stubborn Taurus energy where I was not being so open to new ways, new approaches, new ideas. And it was like, look, you've got to allow this to happen. And my guides and my angels wanted for that to happen for me so that I could get here to this place where I'm doing some things differently, and I'm trying some different things out. I'm trying some things and seeing what works, and playing around with it a little bit. So that's important. And part of that process is in also clearing things out, letting things go, right? Making room for that. There's a lot of blessings that are coming through this week. This spread is incredible. I love it. A lot of new energy. What's new for you? What's coming in, right? These options that are coming in. A lot of openness. We need to be open to new experiences, new manifestations. I think these manifestations are going to come in a way that's different from what we expected. Isn't that almost always true? It seems like, we think, oh, it's going to be this, this, and this, and it comes in a different way. But isn't it also true that typically the experience of that, when we lean into that, is actually better, and that we understand that God knew what was best for us even when we didn't? Ace of Pentacles. This is beautiful. I believe that we had the Ace of Pentacles last week. And I get a similar vibe with this. Like, it's this energy of, was it my reading that I talked about this? I'm not sure if this was a private reading or if I did this in my weekly, but this energy of, take a look at this. Like, it's a similar energy to what I had before, where it's like, The Secret Garden. Did you guys ever read that book? I loved that book. I loved the idea of that, like, the secret magical place that people could go and just like be surrounded by these flowers, by this beauty, by this magic. And that was such a magical story to me when I was a kid. And I'm getting that energy here with this. It's like, what are you growing in your garden? What are you creating? How do you need to nurture your garden? Where do you need to water some things? Where do you need to weed some things? Where do you need to put the effort in to nurture the seeds that you have planted? And in a garden, there's that process, right? Where sometimes we're putting new seeds in, and then we're also nurturing these things over here. And so where do you also need to be planting seeds? Tending to this beautiful garden that is the manifestation of all of the things that you are creating. And you're creating a lot, right? Because this is a garden of so many different types of flowers and creating this whole beautiful experience for us. But we have to be willing to invest our time, our energy into starting some new things for us. This is a very new energy here this week with these cards. Allowing the process to happen. So do you have plants in your garden, things that you're manifesting, things that you're creating that you haven't been tending to in the way that it needs to be tended to? I'm very aware of some things that I needed to shift, things that I needed to do, and shifting my focus into making sure that I'm taking care of it. Because these things that I'm growing are going to create a really magical experience. We're planting the seeds for our lives, for our future, right? This is so important. And these seeds are growing. We have this woman standing in what appears to be a garden with this 9 of Pentacles, standing surrounded by all of the beautiful things that she has created. If we can put the effort in, it's going to grow, it's going to develop, it's going to happen, and we're going to find ourselves pretty quickly in a position where we feel like, I don't know, I get this energy of I've made it in some way. How do you know that you've made it? That's a really good question. That's been something I've been thinking about a lot. But also that awareness that something has developed, something has happened. We've crossed the threshold is this energy that I get. We've crossed over into, wow, like this is really happening. This is really moving. This is really developing. I'm in a good position, whether this is financially, whatever it is that you're creating. I'm in a good position and I have a lot of options available to me and I have a lot of access that's available. This is an energy of access as well in a positive way where you just feel like you're surrounded by blessings. We're growing a really beautiful garden here. And I always am aware of that bird that she's holding as well. And I always see that as in this deck, which I felt like I needed to use this deck today as a pleated woodpecker. And for me, those are all about opportunity knocking, right? So opportunities knocking, you might have a lot of knocking and you're going to have to decide which opportunities are going to be the best fit for you. Page of Swords. So we're leaning into new ideas, new ways of doing things. We are speaking about things in a different way or having conversations about things in a way that's different from how we've done them. And I want to encourage that. Show up differently because you're different. You've shifted so much. And this process of just allowing it all to develop, it all to grow, it all to create. And it starts with a thought. It starts with the mind. It starts with an idea. And I feel like here in this energy, there are going to be some new ideas coming through. We're also going to watch the development of some of the ideas that we had in the past. We're also going to be using different approaches or seeing things from a different perspective that are going to create in a different way. But this is really powerful. I also get this energy with this of like us being seen or something being seen in a very positive way. Again, like there's options here that are available and may the best option win. I think that this week, I think it's showing up over the next month or so as well. So it might take a little time for this to unfold, but we certainly are stepping into new beginnings, stepping into new phases of our lives. We are releasing the old stuff. We're taking action in the direction that we want to be moving in. I think that we're aware of the direction that we want to be moving in. We're intentionally creating and then taking steps to move in that direction. We might feel, I'm getting this message of like feeling disenchantment with some things, right? You might feel disenchanted with some things that maybe you felt very enchanted with at one time. And now it's like, that just doesn't hit the same. Follow the path, move in the direction of the things that you feel enchanted by, the things that you feel drawn to, and be willing to move away from those things. It's okay for you to take a look at that and go, wow, I've really changed. My perspective on this has really changed. I think that we're moving into a time where we have new thoughts, we're seeing things from different perspectives, and this is really powerful. It's leading us to a lot of beautiful new beginnings. And it's leading us in the direction of some amazing things with this Sun card. I talked a little while ago about finding our way to the other side of the storm and the rainbow on the other side of the storm. And now this feels like the sun coming out on the other side of the storm. We had a lot of stuff happening and a lot to clean up and a lot to clear up, but we're moving in a really positive and beautiful direction. And I think most importantly with this sun, like, we're understanding the light that exists within us and how powerful that is and how powerful we are. And we can use that light to create even more incredible things in our life. I definitely think that we're moving in the right direction now. Certainly we can always challenge ourselves and make sure that we are doing things in a way that honors us, that honors other people. But it feels overall like as a collective, we're moving in a really great direction, and we're going to be receiving the rewards of that. Keep going, keep taking steps in that direction. Honor where your soul is pulling you to be. And the last card, speaking of where your soul is pulling you to be, Page of Swords. I told you there's a lot of new energy. Let's get excited again about life, about the things that we're creating. And if you're not excited about the options that are surrounding you, it's time to open yourself to new options. It's time to plant some more seeds. It's time to put yourself out there in some way. This is about following the spark. I mean, these two together, the Page of Swords and the Page of Wands, like, there's such an inspiration that's happening. There's so much creativity that's happening here in this energy. There's such an awareness of where we need to go, where we need to be. And I think that we need to be excited about it. We need to be proud of the work that we've done and the direction that we're heading. And to be working on things, right? But this Page of Swords, especially, or the Page of Wands, especially combined with that Page of Swords, is saying to me, you might be wanting to do this in a different way. And if you're willing to do it in a different way, I think that it is going to shake things up enough for you that it feels good again. It feels like we're breathing new life into some things by doing it a different way, being willing to shake it up, being willing to release the things that we're feeling disenchanted with, being honest with ourselves about that, and taking a look at, okay, what are the options that I have ahead of me, and which ones most align? And if none of them feel like they align, then we wait, then we're open, then we trust that what we are manifesting is that much better. But finding that connection to your excitement, your joy, to your creativity. Follow the path of that. Follow where that's leading you. It's going to lead you exactly where you need to be. So those are your messages for this week. I hope that they resonate with you. Please let me know if they do. I always love to hear from you guys. Please like this video, share this video, comment below, tag somebody that you feel like needs to hear these messages this week. I appreciate that so much. Some of you guys are hardcore with that stuff, just amazing in that way and so supportive, and it helps these videos to be seen. Please, if you're watching this on my YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet and you're watching this on my Facebook, please subscribe over there as well. It just helps to support the channel and helps these videos to get where they need to be. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you soon with another video. Take care.